So, you want to see if Magnus Carlsen qualifies into Division 1 of the coolest chess tournament series? That would result in him playing T's top players. Sadly, no Hikaru. Well, enjoy these chess games that Magnus played, and if you hate my voice, you can watch me on mute. And he starts off with the black pieces. Froljanov plays d4. By the way, I don't really know why he lost 1 minute and 30 seconds because probably late for the game. But he needs that 1 minute and 30 seconds back ASAP against Magnus. Oh, he's going to suffer that. So there is e6, knight f3. This is the Nimzo Indian. And after d5, it transposes to queen's gambit declined. Now g3 is an invitation to Catalan, something which is quite known opening for dynamic play. So bishop b4 check, bishop d2, and now bishop back to d6. Now why would he do that? Because bishop on d2 might be misplaced there. So bishop g2, castles, knight c6. Now Magnus does not put two pawns in the center like c5 or prepare prepare e5 with rook e8, but he plays knight c6, which is an odd one for many reasons. You are blocking the c pawn. But Magnus argues that he is taking his opponents out of comfort zone. Now Magnus immediately strikes with takes and e5, opening up the center because if opponent takes, then Magnus can force many trades and open up his files and get quick development with bishop e6 attacking the queen. And that's what happens. Magnus he centralizes the queen. He's following all of the principles. After knight c3, c6 to stop the knight from coming forward. Now, after rook a to d1, bishop e6 attacking the queen, queen d4. Magnus does not trade the queens because he sees the eyes on the prize there. After e4, Magnus immediately centralizes the rook and plays knight to g4. There is a lot of hurt for white in this position as knights are flying in to attack. Queen e2 and now knight to e5, putting the knight to a central square, blocking the pawn. For example, if f4 were to happen here, there would be many checks like queen c5, but even bishop c4 actually just just skewers the rook and queen. So he trades the rooks off first. He trades another pairs of rooks. So there is no skewer. G6. Magnus wants to get the open file. So h5. Oh, Magnus is going to knock on the door. Magnus is going to knock on the door after takes knight c5 attacking the pawn. Queen c2 defense. h4. Hello, hello. I'm trying to damage your structure. That happens. Queen e5 check. King g1. There is a lot of weaknesses here. And Magnus immediately goes to fight for that. Queen takes h4. Knight d4. Queen f6. Oh, we trade off. Why does Magnus want to trade off? Because he figures that White's structure is unhealthier than his one. Because Magnus really wants to go into an endgame. After Queen d2, Magnus plays knight to d7, Queen to g5, and now he trades. He trades for good. But actually h4 is a mistake because that pawn is there to fall. After knight c5 attacking, trying to go for this or this. After king to f1, this knight is now doomed. Why did the... So you might say, why did the opponent not play f4? Because after knight to d3, this pawn is also weakness. f5 takes, and now just maybe knight f1. Actually, you can also go for these pawns. That's the strength of this position. So after knight c5, king f1, he immediately takes that off. f4, knight to e6, king e3, and Magnus brings the king. He brings the king, and he brings the knight back, going for these squares. Those very good squares. If Magnus gets to trade off this knight for this bishop, then he's winning, because he's up a pawn here. Can he do that? Can he manage to do that? Knight e6, king e4, b6. Wait, what is happening here? Is this truly winning? But but the bishop can also chop the pawn off, and then it's no longer winning for black. Black cannot mate with an only a knight. So knight e6 check. Magnus is creating passed pawns. Magnus is truly creating passed pawns here. King f3. Sorry. Knight f4. Bishop c4. This is a grinding endgame. g4. Now the pawn's running, and black king might not be able to stop. Will not be able to stop that. c4. Did he need to give that pawn back? On yes, he did. After knight takes c5. Now white is going to win this pawn. He's going to win this pawn. But first, he's just yeah. By the way, white is down to 3 seconds. White is down to 3 seconds. Surely there must be something. By the way, if you give this pawn up, then it's a draw. You will not win this. So Magnus needs to block. Magnus needs to block this. Magnus needs to throw this bishop back there and block this square with the knight so he could get the pawn up. So that's what he's going for. He's going for it. And now, wait, is the bishop trapped? Wait, the bishop is trapped. If Magnus takes, if Froljanov takes, then Magnus is winning. But he attacks the pawn here. He attacks this pawn. But after knight to e3 check, there is a trick here. Froljanov needed to play king f4 to stop the knight from going to f5. Because if he goes to f3, now he goes to f5, and the bishop truly is trapped, because after knight h5, he wins the bishop. Oh my. Oh my. Froljanov almost drew Magnus, but Magnus makes his magic and makes his way to a first victory. That was crazy. So the second game is against Laurent Fressinet, a Frenchman, someone truly underrated, because what happens here in this game is quite the surprise for me. After bishop c5, this is the Choco Piano, the Italian game. This is very solid. d6, c3, d3, bishop b3, just shuffling pieces, developing them. Rook e2 defense against knight takes f2, h3 kicking the knight away, and it seems like Laurent has not developed that much, but he goes for f5. He strikes away after bishop g5, attacking the queen, queen e8. Wait, Laurent just allowed Magnus to damage the structure. What is he doing? Well, you see, Laurent is the one attacking. Queen g6, putting pressure on rook. Knight g3. Now, look at this. Look at this. These bars are now open. Wait, is actually Laurent attacking Magnus? After bishop d7. Oh, look at this. Bishop c2 attacking the queen. Queen goes back. Queen just goes back. After queen d2. You are not getting it, Magnus. You are not getting your counterplay, because in this position, Laurent takes the knight and chops it all away. Rook takes f3. Oh, this knight was worth 6 points here, because after g takes f3, these pawns are now so bad, and these bishops are about to come alive here. Oh my, there are so many weaknesses. Rook is going here or here. Oh my. And this knight is going to join. Oh, this is not looking good for Magnus. Magnus might be one of the best players ever, but when his king is in danger, he might not survive that, because he only likes the end games where he has every king safe. After d takes c3, b takes c3, knight to e5. Oh my. These are looking like kings only. these these pawns are only guarded by the king, and that is not looking good. After f4, there is now knight to g6, still creating some weaknesses, attacking the square on h4. After rook a to e1, but you see, Magnus thought here for a minute, but You know, he's not used to checks, so after rook a to e1, he blunders a fork, because he blunders a fork, knight f3. Uh-oh, Magnus is losing an exchange. Oh my, what is he doing? His bishop is hanging, his, his, his pawn is hanging, his rook could be pinned. Oh, after rook g8, leaving this bishop to hang, he would get this bishop. Queen takes a7, there is bishop c6. Oh my. Magnus is truly losing here. Oh, he's losing an exchange, two exchanges to be exact. Oh, this king is in danger. Coming in, queen c1. After king h2, knight f3, king g2. It's a matter of time until the player of Lorentz caliber cleans this up. I mean, he did just simplify there, but his king is Magnus's king is really in danger. Just everything is pinned. Magnus has no play. He does not want to trade queens. That leaves no room for his victory. And look at this. Just taking all of these pawns and like restricting all of the moves. And now this is a forced queen trade, or else he gets checkmated. And Magnus will not win this. That was a crazy game, starting off with rook takes f3, just that's brilliant move. On to the third game. Now e4. Magnus is okay. Okay, Magnus is Magnus's first two games there. He won many other games. He got to second place, and now there's a mini match. He's playing against Ivan Saric. He has to win one game and draw the other, or win the second one to win. Otherwise, they go to the Armageddon. So now let's look at this game. E4, C5, knight f3, D6, Sicilian defense canal attack. This has been many. This has been one of the many games we have seen Magnus play in this tournament for exact. And after rook e1, this is all normal. a6 attacking the bishop, but the bishop goes back to f1. A very nice maneuver here. After b5, Magnus takes on Passant. It's forced and it's literally the best move. Um, Bishop b7, rook a2. Rook a2 now. Rook a2 is quite the meta game. Magnus is not telling his opponent what he's doing. Like Magnus is playing on a different level. After queen takes, we can see the justification in many moves. b3, knight g4, activating the bishop, h3 attacking the knight, knight e5 centralizes, knight d5 also centralizes and takes, queen back to d8 to guard against the e7, bishop b2. Now Magnus just played rook a2 to trade this bishop off and leave this rook on b2. Very nice move. Very nice place to put the rook in, but I don't really know why. Rook back to a2, so yeah. e6 now, kicking the knight away. Knight e5, queen g3. Ivan is going for the counterplay against these weaknesses here. Knight b5 attacks this, so e5 defends. Bishop c4, developing the bishop. Knight to d4, it forces a trade. And now d3, locking up the structure. This bishop is not good, meanwhile this bishop is. So, king to h8. Can Magnus convert this? Is he going to trade queens here? He's doubling up on this, but oh, Ivan is striking here. f3 now. It is important that you don't take, because otherwise you open up the bishop and you open up the rook. So Magnus calmly plays f3 and keeps the structure this way. So bishop c6, queen to e1, attacking this pawn. E1 says, I think I have something here. Queen g5, I think I have something here. You cannot take that pawn. h5, yeah, you can't take that pawn. My queen is there, and it's threatening. It's all things. Wait, you took that pawn? Really? Oh my, now I have to prove something here. Queen g5, he's relying on the open rook, but it cannot be moved to g8. So what's the purpose? Oh, this is very passive, defending that bishop there. But Magnus, he's trying to find some moves here. This is not that easy. King h2 literally walking against the queen. H4, bishop E6, stacks the rook. Rook C7, king H3. Magnus is trying to work. He's trying to win this, but after he takes here, this might be winning because he has many passed pawns. Let's look at this. Oh, that's exactly what happened. Rook takes C2, G4. Oh my. I think black is losing here because I mean, oh, Ivan is getting low on time now. After king G6, it is mate. It is mate. If king G8, rook B8 is checkmate. Wow. Wow, there was, yeah, Magnus just got too many pawns there. Yeah. So really, is this the last game? Because Magnus just won a game. Now he only needs a draw. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. This is going to be the Rui Lopez. How is Ivan going to win this? With how is Ivan going to win this? This is very drawable. Bishop E7, D3, B5. And this all is quite theoretical. Rook E1, bringing the knight to G3, knight G5, attacking this. After Magnus just played Rook E8, okay. D5, okay. Oh, fighting against the bishop. Bishop takes, queen takes. Rook back to F8, fighting against this pawn. Now Magnus did just move this rook so many times. After knight to F5, attacking bishop, putting a lot of pressure here against this king side. What is Ivan going to cook up here? Magnus plays h6, kicking this away, takes, knight h7. But you see, Magnus spent 3 minutes here. Like, Ivan's position is very annoying here. Everything is pointing at this. So Magnus just finds no real good move. All of these just seem the same. So he thinks for 3 minutes, plays knight h7, because white wants to go knight e5 regardless of Magnus's move. After queen f6, why did Magnus do this? There is now a desperado because this knight is hanging. So he gives away the knight to h6, takes with pawn, and now a fork. Wow, he got a pawn and now a fork. Wow, how did Magnus not see that? Rook takes. Okay, but Magnus is really trying to win this. Okay, I'm sorry. Um, I don't know. This is very losing for black. But let's see what Magnus does. A4. Ivan has bishop, rook, and queen, and he moves his pawn to fix to break this structure down. After bishop d2, a5, just doubling to rooks. Knight f6, rook a to e1. Queen f3, like Ivan is playing this like a boss. He has so simple moves here. Just protect everything, consolidate. King h2, just yep, here goes it all. Magnus trades off, but look who has an extra piece here, extra exchange there. Yeah, Ivan is really going to win this now because he's going to centralize the rooks, attack knight, take all the pawns, and create his own pass pawn. And look at this. There is a cool moment there. Magnus denies rook trade. D6, x D6 is a check, discovered check. King to E6, now another discovered check. King takes, and now rook C2, trapping the knight. Because if knight goes to d5, he loses it. He he loses it. Rook e2 and even rook, I don't know. Yeah, he loses the knight. That's insane. He won this game. But you see, I tricked you. It is actually 5 games because they're going to Armageddon. They're going to Armageddon. Black bid 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Which means that if black draws, black wins, and Magnus loses. So let's see, is Magnus going to qualify? Knight f3. Oh, it's the Petrov. It's the Petrov. A classical line here. G6 after activating the bishop. This is a cool line here to play for Magnus because I mean, Petrovs are quite dynamic for white. B6, knight c3. There is some usual development here. The structure of Magnus is bread and butter, as Magnus is not going to. Uh, I mean, Magnus is not should not trade pieces here, but he is going for endgames as well. So now a5, bishop d4. Oh, Ivan is going to lose his defender there. Is that good for Magnus? But wait a second, there are all these trades happening. Magnus is trying to play this too quickly. Ivan is only going for a draw here. King f2, h5, h4. Oh, shuffling, shuffling. Oh, Ivan has gone for this endgame where there is only two pieces on the board. Wow, this is a good strategy, but is there any drawing odds? King f2, g5. Yeah, um, Magnus is Magnus is going to take away the squares from this king. After bishop f5, you have to look if this position is draw. Is this winning for white? No, because black's pawns are more advanced, so you cannot trade the knight for the bishop. King e3, now bishop b1. Magnus goes a4, but now knight b5 is there to attack everything. So what does Ivan do here? He attacks T-spawns, forcing b3. Now everything is quite locked here. But Magnus takes away these squares here. He takes away king's squares, and then he goes for the break. He goes for b4. But first he goes to defend this pawn. He goes there, and he gets b4. Now the king gets active, as he goes for a5, and there is now more room to walk to. He can go to c7, take these pawns. And if black is not careful, bishop to h3, very clutch move, going to attack these pawns from the side, so that you cannot go for this so easily. King b5 though, and now bishop f1, yeah, tries it down. But now, what does Magnus do here? He goes knight c2. He goes for the knight maneuver to e3 to attack this bishop, and then to go take these pawns. Wow, what does Ivan do here? He has to find a good move here. Or he can wait. He can wait. But he does not wait. He goes bishop to h3, blundering the game, and just when he plays it, he sees that it's losing. Because king c6, there is not enough time. Magnus is going to win this pawn and not going to lose that one. Or Ivan goes for this line, where after king c7, king f4, Magnus is getting two passed pawns, and he tries to get his own passed pawn. But Magnus has calculated one line further. After d6, f4, he does not rush with d7, because if takes, after f3, black is winning, because you cannot stop that pawn. So, Magnus plays 91, stopping f3 altogether and getting these pawns to victory. Or emerging up a knight. Or emerging up a knight, and the king is there to stop that pawn. Here comes the pawn check, and Magnus wins the Armageddon. It wins the Armageddon because of one foolish mistake after bishop to back to h3. This is how Armageddons work. Players are intense. Players are intense. So now Magnus wins, and he gets to qualify. Here are the 8 players playing for victory on the 10th of July, including Magnus. Nice.